He is feared and respected all over the cricketing world. He is one of the greatest ever to have played the game. He's also carried the burden of expectations of 1.3 billion crazy cricket-loving Indians for many years. So when we discuss the topic of Virat Kohli being out of form or not scoring big runs or how long before he's dropped, trust me, we do it with the knowledge that he is one of the best ever. That being said, there's another reality staring Indian cricket in its face. Virat Kohli hasn't scored 100 in the last 2.5 years. And that's not all. As India look to build their T20 squad for the World Cup, adopting an attacking brand of cricket, is there place for Virat Kohli in India's T20 setup? That is the question that we are asking today. And on this discussion, on this panel, I have with me former India cricketer and a former selector, Ashok Malhotra. Here with me, Santosh Suri joins us from England as well. He's outside a railway station, trying to take a train to London for the ODI series. Gentlemen, this is a topic now that we've been discussing for a while. Every time Virat Kohli goes out to bat and he's unable to score runs, we keep asking this question as to how long before he's dropped. Especially now in the recent times, Ashok Malhotra, this is now difficult. This is getting into a phase where former cricketers are talking about it. Your good friend and the legendary Mr. Kapil Dev has started this conversation. Your first take on this, on how long will this take?
See, it's a million-dollar question. On form, definitely Virat doesn't have to place. You know, because he's a legend. We all know he's a legend. He's going to be named. He's written a different chapter. You know, with his batting, he's been phenomenal. But he's been phenomenal the way he's not getting runs. That is all. No, I don't remember any day going through this kind of league match. I don't know why and how. But I would say probably these 3 ODIs, it is going to be the last name. Is it going to be the last name? Because if he does not score runs in these 3 ODIs, then I don't see him going to the top. Because 2020 cricket, Miha, the problem is 2020 cricket, supposing if they decided to open the punt and Rohit open, and if the bat, say for 10 overs, then if you are a coach or Santosh sir is a coach, who will you send at number 3? You know, it will be Suryakumar Yadav, it will be Hardik Pandya, it will be somebody who's an explosive. You will never send Virat Kohli because it will take its time. So it will slow you down. So it is a game in a very fast-paced league. So maybe a little bit of generation gap. He's trying his best. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
The way he played a couple of shots in the last T20, but that is not Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli needs some time to settle down and then play its aggressive shot. But now the game has changed. Now they want to go from one goal. Somebody like Deepak Hooda, somebody like Suryakumar Yadav, somebody like Rishabh Pant. They are different ball game. And there's so many of them. Ishan Kishan, Sanju Samson. I mean, they're all around them. I don't know how long you can keep them out. I know Virat is a legend. Virat is a great cricketer. But then one more thing, who is going to fight who is going to belt again? Is Rahul Dravid going to take that toughness? Because it depends in the end to the management. Will they? We can say anything, but end of the day, the buck stops with the management and the selectors. Will they take the tough decision?
And it is a big decision. Will Rahul Dravid take that decision? It's a huge decision. You know, whoever decides to drop him, it's really they're in their careers they'll be remembered for that. That he's the person who dropped Virat Kohli. But Santosh Suri, before I come to you, now you've been attending the press conferences there in England. This is what Rohit Sharma had said. Now this question was put to the Indian captain as to how long before you drop Virat Kohli. You know, is this now getting difficult for Rohit Sharma as a captain, for the coach as well, now to keep him in the side, especially with the youngsters performing well? This is what he had to say. He says it's not difficult at all for us because we don't listen to the outside noise. Also, I don't know who these experts are. We know who these experts are. Ashok Malhotra is very close to one of those experts who has spoken about Virat Kohli or what they are called. I don't get that. They're seeing from the outside. They don't know what's happening inside the team. We have a thought process. We make the team, we debate and discuss it and think a lot about it. The players we pick are backed. They are given opportunities. People on the outside don't know about it. So it's more important about what's happening within our team. That's important to me. And I don't expect Rohit Sharma to say anything else from this, Santosh sir, even that when this question must have been put to him. I mean, you're obviously not looking at Rohit Sharma to say, oh yeah, we are looking at him and we're wondering when he's going to get back to form. That's not something that you expect out of the captain. No one's going to say that about Virat Kohli. But having said that, do you now feel, even in the press box, this conversation is around Virat Kohli and how he's really a shadow of his former self, you know, the great Virat Kohli now, for the first time. We've seen so many firsts with Virat Kohli in the recent times, you know, just he's found new ways to get out. He gets run out. Then for the first time, we saw him missing a catch, an easy catch as a one in the last match as well. So things, obviously, he's low on confidence, out of form or not, definitely low on confidence.
Absolutely. The hot topic in the press box, leave alone press box, it's in social media, it's on television, it's everywhere. The hot topic is how long they are going to carry on with Virat Kohli, and nobody knows the answer. And like you just said, that Rohit Sharma was asked the question, and he bravely put forward the theory that we don't listen to the noises that are outside. But there can be no denying that no team on this earth can ever be isolated from criticism in social media, in television. You have to react to it. They must be surely reacting to it inside, but when it comes to facing the media, they put up a brave face. What Rohit Sharma has said clearly is that the form is temporary, but the class is permanent. And accordingly, we are going all out in seeing that Kohli gets his maximum chances to get himself back into the form. As long as Team India is winning, I don't think there will be too much of a pressure. So he'll get a bit of a longer rope. But as far as his future in T20 cricket, that's a very, very questionable thing. I think he's just on the cusp of being, said goodbye to T20 cricket. So probably if he concentrates more on ODIs and test matches, he will have a chance to, prolong his career. And like we have said that who will ultimately bell the cat, I think it should be the national selectors and the BCCI who have to decide. I don't think Dravid is such a strong personality who can tell that, okay, it's enough for... They may be able to declare innings closed when Sachin Tendulkar is close to 200. But I don't think they have in them to say that, no, Dravid can say to the BCCI and selector that I've had enough of Kohli. So that's the way the situation is right now.
I remember the wait for Sachin Tendulkar's 100th 100. I remember it very clearly. And again, it became a national obsession, just like this is. Virat Kohli not being able to get 100. You're counting every innings, every match, every outing. You're waiting for that 100. And I remember a similar situation with Sachin Tendulkar as well, Ashok sir. And one of the things I remember Sachin saying then is that people have forgotten that I've got 99 hundreds. They're only concentrating on that 100. So I get the scrutiny as well. Virat Kohli, he set this lofty standard for himself, right? This is Virat Kohli who every time goes out, scores. So when you look at him in T20 International specifically, do you feel at this point, given that he's under so much pressure, he's really struggling to reinvent himself?
I guess, I'm in the kind of pressure, 1.3 billion people, they have the expectation. He has a pressure on him. And then the social media and everybody in the country, they are commenting. They're putting him under further pressure. There's no two ways about it. And what Rohit is saying is he's being diplomatically correct. That's all he's saying. When he says, we don't listen to outsiders, believe you me, all of them listen to outsiders. They read every article. They listen to every TV channels. They listen to social media people. Believe you me, they are. And there must be, they might be diplomatically correct, but within those 4 balls, they must be thinking about how long. You talked about Sachin's 100. You talk about a couple days, 434 wicket. We know how he dragged it. The great players in Indian cricket, they don't go easy. I wouldn't say that Virat is on the verge of going because he's young enough. He can play another 4-5 years of good cricket. But I think, as Santoshji said, 2020 cricket, I think he might be left behind. The kind of cricketers we have and the number. Because even if he's in the side, which number is going to play? That is going to be a million-dollar question. Since you decided to open with Rohit Sharma. What about PL now? There's another one you're not talking about. What about Suryakumar Yadav? What about Deepak Hooda? These are the guys we have to think about. So Virat Kohli is being out of form. And these guys being in a good form is putting a lot of pressure on the management. And as I said before, Meha, who is going to bite it? Who is going to bell the cat? And it is going to be a very, very tough decision. And I don't see, honestly, I don't know, it'll surprise me if Rahul takes the tough decision. Because for Rahul is a real gentleman. Gentlemen, nowadays gentlemen, either they're dead or they don't play cricket. It's a different ball game nowadays. So for Rahul to bite the bullet, take that tough decision, that is, I really don't understand. If between you and me, yes, on form, Virat does not deserve to be the team side. But the management, the decision lies with the management. Will they take that tough decision? Will they bite the bullet? And will they be brave enough, if I may say, to drop Virat?
Yeah. Okay. Now, a lot of Virat Kohli fans will say this, Santosh sir, that why are you after him? He's got great numbers in T20Is. Again, because you expect Virat Kohli to every time when he goes out to score a 50 or 100 doesn't mean he's out of form. That's the argument that most of Virat Kohli fans are giving at the moment. Do you believe that in some way this scrutiny is unfair on Virat Kohli?
See, it was 2.5 years ago that he scored his 70th international 100, and there was talk at that time that within next 3-4 years he'll be closer to Tendulkar's 100. So that was the type of, the expectation that everybody had from Virat Kohli, the batsman. And from there on, it has been just downhill. And now we just don't know when his next international 100 is going to come. See, it is okay. You can't, be there for your past reputation or your past figures. Like Ashokji said, that Kapil Dev did struggle in the last years to get to that Richard Headley's, record. And in that case, even then, see, who was the sufferer? It was Javagal Srinath, who could not get into the team. And so there is always a, downside when you are giving a long rope to a former star to, see that if he can get back to his wanted form. So that's the whole thing. And of course, I think Virat Kohli has got more probably fan following than on the social media than our PM. So obviously he has got a lot of backing, and it's not very easy for such a big star to be, eased out so easily. Probably what will happen in next 4-6 months, if he is not played at all in T20 cricket in the whatever matches we have before the World Cup. So that will be an indication, and slowly he can be eased out without too much of a hassle. Yeah. As far as his future is concerned, probably these 3 ODIs that are 2 in London and 1 in Manchester are going to be really crucial for him to see how far he can stretch his international career. Whether he comes in T20 because of that of course selectors and BCCI will have to take the call.
Also, why things get more complicated, Ashok sir, is that you have a World Cup this year, later this year, around 15 odd T20 internationals you'll be playing together as a team before you go into the World Cup. With this new attacking brand of cricket that Rohit Sharma has been talking about, with the way the youngsters have been performing, all striking at about 130 plus, with some even striking at 170, case in point, Deepak Hooda, who's been playing so well. That again becomes a problem, right? Because in the top three with Virat Kohli, you look at KL Rahul, you look at Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, all three very similar in their style of batting, where if you put in Deepak Hooda at number 3, here is a naturally aggressive batsman who's, who plays T20 cricket like it's meant to be played in 2022 without taking anything away from Virat Kohli. Do you believe that's another thing that they have to take into consideration when they are forming that T20 squad for the World Cup?
Definitely, yeah. And if you decide to open with Rishabh Pant, because you realize Rishabh Pant at number 5 might not be as good in T20 cricket as he's, because he's a big striker with the ball and left-right combination. So that's a good thing. And then you will expect Hooda at 3, Suryakumar at 4, Hardik Pandya at 5, Jadeja at 6. Then you have a batting who can consolidate. So I would say Rohit, the kind of cricket he's playing, that is not like Rohit. The kind of cricket Virat is playing, he's playing unlike Virat. The number of runs, I know he's averaging still above. He's still averaging 139 plus. But that is when he plays long games. It is not when the openers have got batted 10 overs. Supposing 6 overs, 60 runs, and then Virat comes in, which happened the day before. And he comes and tries to play that brand of cricket. That is not, he is flirting with things when he plays that brand of cricket. He's the kind of guy who repeats strike, turns ones into twos. He's a very fit guy. But then he waits till the last 5 overs to play some big shots. So that is where the problem is. And it is generation next. I would still say, why can't we go with the younger lot? 2007 World Cup may have won with the younger lot. No Sachin, no Saurav, no Lakshman, no Rahul, no Kumble, and we won the World Cup. Why can't we give these youngsters, the youngsters who are knocking or banging at the doors, and whenever they're given an opportunity? I understand he's a great player, but then everybody has a shelf life, especially in T20 cricket. Virat's shelf life, I think, is more or less over.
Yeah, so there you have it then with Deepak Hooda batting so well. We saw what Suryakumar Yadav did in the third T20 International. It is not going to be an easy road ahead for Virat Kohli, especially in T20. As the other thing being, the way T20's eyes are now being played as well, Santosh sir, as Ashok sir was also saying, that, you don't, in today's T20s, you do not need an anchor. You need an aggressor, you need an enforcer, you need a finisher. And with India now going about in the style that they are, you do need big hitters. It's now becoming like a specialist game. Different overs require you to have specialist batsmen just for those overs, be it the power plays, middle overs, and the death overs.
Absolutely. So if you have a struggling person who tend to waste 2 overs, 3 overs, and the momentum is also lost. We have seen in T20 cricket where Kohli comes and he's struggling for 4-5 balls, and then he leaves to a audacious stroke. And then what happens is that the momentum that was given by the opener suddenly comes down, and again there is a phase where the next man has to come and at least give a few deliveries to see that India gets going. So in today's T20 cricket, there is, no scope of waiting at and you don't even get the opportunity, to face down 4, 5, 8 balls.
Yeah.
So far behind that it will be impossible. So that's the way it is. So the younger the player, who has less fear, he has no fear of, being out of form or fear of any other thing of being dropped in the next match. I think that is the type of fearless cricket that is required. Even Rohit Sharma has said that we have given our youngsters total freedom to express themselves in T20 cricket so they can, go out and perform at their optimum. Now that freedom obviously has been given to to Virat Kohli also. But obviously since he is mentally and, on the pitch also, he's not what he was a few years ago. So that problem has occurred in the Indian team, and that is always slowing down the Indian cricket. So at this juncture, I don't think there is much scope to continue with Virat Kohli in T20. The sooner they take a decision, I think the better it will be for Indian cricket with World Cup approaching within 3-4 months.
Yeah. Ashok sir, you want to come in?
Yes, and one more thing is when the guy is out of form, he's struggling for his life, he's trying to save his cricketing career. He tends to play for himself. You know, I've been a cricketer, I've been a batter, I know the mindset of a batter. You know, he's not going to play for the side. However great he might be, because his neck is on the chopping block. So he would like to prolong his career. So I think and on the other side, you've got Deepak Hooda, who seems to be in a prime form. He's hit a purple patch. Why wouldn't I not prefer him ahead of Virat Kohli? You know, either you have a role for Virat Kohli or he does not fit into this team. You know, I understand it's very unfortunate. It's very easy for us to say. I know it'll be hurting Kohli's fan, but the fact is, the writing is on the board. You know, he might be very good still in Test cricket. He might be very good still in ODI. But when it comes to 2020 cricket, I think writing is kind of on the board.
Which is why the fact that now there are reports suggesting, for all our viewers, there are reports now suggesting that Virat Kohli has asked for rest not just in the ODI series against the West Indies, but also in the T20 Internationals. Which then leads me to the next question, Ashok sir, as to what seems to be going on. Can we even, you know, for all you know, Virat Kohli himself will decide that maybe it's time for him to hang up his boots when it comes to T20Is, because why would you, in a World Cup year, take so many breaks? I think, in this year, he's only played 3 T20Is till now. And now he'll play the 3 ODIs and then will again be rested. Do you think that this is something that he also would be thinking about? I mean, he would be feeling it as well.
See, he must be, Neha, he must be getting, you know, you can read the writing. You can hear the whispers which is going around in the dressing room. Whatever diplomatically Rohit might be saying. You know, if he's missing out, see, you can't miss out, sit at home and get back in form. You have to get back in form in the ground. Because if I take a rest, when I come back, I'm still out of form. I'm still under pressure. So that is where the question mark is. Why he's taking the break? Or is it that the management and selectors are giving him a break, gradually, as Santosh said, gradually easing him out of the 2020 plan? So that can be one more thing. There are circles within circles when it comes to Indian cricket. Yeah. And we you know, most of us don't speak when it comes to media, or, you know, whereas, you know, it always happens. But I think there is something is missing. Nobody's... Rahul has not picked up a phone and told Virat Kohli, sorry guy, you're not wanted. Like he told Shikhar Dhawan or told Riddhi Mansah. You know, so somewhere along the line, different yardsticks for different cricketers. So the fact is, I think, even if he does well in one-day cricket, will you risk getting back into the T20 side? It spoils the entire balance of your side when Virat comes into the Indian team.
Yeah, which also takes me to the larger question of selecting the squad for T20 World Cup, Santosh sir. Rohit Sharma in the press conference yesterday said that ODIs is an extension of T20s, right? Despite that, as soon as you go into West Indies for the 3 ODIs, you've rested your top 5 players. You have what, little above 3 months left for the World Cup. Wouldn't you want this team to play like a team together, the core players to be there, not just in T20 Internationals, but also in ODIs?
See, leave alone the team, even the journalists don't know who's coming and who's going. You have to, you know, refer to the list again and again to see who is the guy, what is the team, what is the 17 for T20, what is the team for, you know, there is no continuity at all. So we are sometimes very confused whether this Bhuvi is in ODI or not, or after T20 he has been rested. So that's the type of, you know, confusion even in the press box with journalists also. Yeah. Even while discussing, we may discuss a name who may not be in ODI at all and must have done well in T20. So that's the type of situation it has come now. I don't know how the selectors are going to deal with it. From one team to another team, to another captain, to another captain, to another tour, to another tour. After West Indies, there is Zimbabwe, there is Sri Lanka, there is Australia. just unending cricket, and you have multiple teams, multiple captains. So I don't know, after, making a mishmash, or like you want to have 10 vegetables on the table and you want to make dansak out of it. So probably whether the dansak will come out very well or not, that only time will tell. But that's the way situation seems to be right now for India.
I like that. I don't know though. I mean, every time we discuss Virat Kohli, it's with sadness that I say this, Ashok sir. I mean, we've seen some great innings from him, some brilliant performances. There have been times when the Indian team's down and out, like we've seen with Sachin Tendulkar as well. How they've carried the team with on their shoulders, and I think that's where it just gets sad. And you have seen cricket. You've seen so many of these legendary players as well. Over through your career. It's always, I mean, it's you can't put a finger to it, and you wonder how suddenly these great players cannot get any runs.
It's shocking to say that. But Virat's lean season has been extended to 3 years. Somebody who's scoring runs by tons. He reached 70, and we were waiting for him to get to 100. He was batting so well, so beautifully, and any format of the game. Even in T20 cricket, he was probably the best chaser we ever had, or ODI cricket, white ball cricket. But all of a sudden, since he has been removed as 2020 captain, if you look at it, I think either he lost the because he was shocked when he was removed as a skipper, because he thought he's going to be skipper forever. Because players come, players go, but captains don't stay forever. So that he should have understood. And the moment he got dropped or sacked as a skipper, he got angry, he got upset, and then he had a couple of ordinary series. But then that lean season kept on. And now you look at him and you feel sorry for Virat.
Yeah.
He's looking helpless, because he doesn't know what is happening. Either he gets a beauty of a ball or a blinder of a catch or something happens. When the things go wrong with you, when you're out of form, these things come to happen. But you got to. He's one of the greatest to have played cricket for India. He should know by now how to do it. We all have confidence, but you find ways, you find methods to get out of it. But in Virat's case, it's a never-ending saga. And especially the shorter the format, the more difficult it is to get out of it. That is what I'm saying. It's better for him to play Test cricket, ODIs, and probably not play T20 cricket for a while. And if he wants to play T20 cricket, then he should not be taking interest. Because, as I said before, you can't be getting back into form sitting at home.
Absolutely, and I think it also dents your confidence with every failure in any of the matches. If you're playing T20 cricket and you have to go from the first ball and you get out, it's still a failure. It's adding to your list of failures. But gentlemen, quickly before I go, your number 3, I think it's pretty clear, but I'd still ask you straight away, Ashok sir, Deepak Hooda or Virat Kohli for the World Cup?
I would go with Deepak Hooda. The form he's definitely.
Okay. Santosh sir?
Obviously, it should be Hooda. Yeah, obviously, it should be Hooda. There's no chance.
Okay.
India, in fact, has missed the opportunity of trying out Hooda. And I think that's a great setback, not only for Hooda, but for the Indian team. Had he been tried out here in the 2 T20s or the 3 T20s, I think we would have known how, where Hooda stands. But now we know where Virat stands, but we don't know where Hooda stands.
That's right. So maybe in the upcoming series against the West Indies, we'll see Hooda come back, and then he can carry on from where he's left off, and then things will just get even more difficult with Virat Kohli. And then I don't know what will happen to Indian cricket. But gentlemen, that's for another day. Thank you so much, Ashok Malhotra and Santosh Suri, for joining us here. So there you have it. Both of them saying that on current form, Deepak Hooda has to be India's number 3 in that World Cup squad. How long will that rope be for Virat Kohli? At the moment, Rohit Sharma, the captain of the Indian team, very sure of Virat Kohli being in the team. Hopefully, Virat Kohli can reinvent himself. We've seen him do that. He's such a great player. If he can reinvent himself and if he can get some runs, then everything is going to be simple for all the Indian cricket fans. Well, that's it then on this special. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for the latest in the world of sports. It's not just cricket. There's football, tennis, athletics. We cover everything, chess, everything that that you can think of in the world of sports. That'll be there on News 9 Sports. So that's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.